Good evening. We're going to continue what we were doing from last week, and if we're successful, it should confound you as it has me. Two parts of the Republic. One part deals with the conditions that must be established before the quest of true philosophy can begin. That's what we did last week. And I'm going to go back over it to pull some things out of it so I can create the kind of a problem that I think Plato is doing when he's designing and developed the Republic. Now, subject tonight was the Republic, the rising of the soul into the region of mind. And that's what we have to try to show. That's really what the Republic is all about. It's not about designing an ideal state, because the state is not ideal that he generates, as he himself says. So what kind of a work, therefore, are we dealing with so that we can focus on it and play with it tonight? It is a work that assumes that you're interested in and have a curiosity about the transformative powers that bring about an integration and establish the conditions for vision. That's what he's doing in Plato's Republic. There are two sets of problems, the old one-many problem, and the other is between belief and knowing. I'd like to get into this problem of belief now, and kind of in doing that, go back over what we did before. And as we go, I'll highlight a couple of things as we go to have a little fun. The primary challenge of the Republic is to try to grasp the nature of justice and injustice. So last week we talked about justice, temperance, bravery, and wisdom. I'd like to go back over it now to focus on a few things. In the Republic, he is on a particular interesting quest. The way he describes it is, what are we seeking for in justice? But a power. And a power which can produce such men as those men that can go from Hades to heaven, as he calls it, or rising of the mind into the realm of being. Now, as he talks about justice, just to review it, he says the primary idea of justice is to do one's own business in oneself. And the whole point, therefore, is what kind of business is it that you must do in yourself? He says there are three parts of man, right? The desires, spirited part, and the rational part. He said what one must do is bring these three parts and bind them together. And he uses this expression, to make oneself a one out of many. Then he says what you have to then do is you have to believe, remember what we said about belief? You have to believe and name as just and beautiful dealings whatever practice preserves this condition and works along with it. All right, now, that means, here's a beautiful picture of the soul, as you can see. Right, the rational part, the spirited part, and of course the desires. Now, whatever practice preserves this condition of making a oneness out of these three so that they are not at odds one with the other, whatever practice that does that and preserves that condition of oneness, that's justice. That's justice. See? And what do you get for it? You get a power. That produces a power. This produces a power. This is very similar in Buddhism. When one unifies the mind, a power is generated out of that unification of the mind, and that's called jiriki. Same idea, same idea. Now, temperance, he describes as whatever the ruler, which is the rational part, and the two ruled, the spirited part and the desires, whenever the ruler and the two ruled are of one mind and agree, that the reasoning part ought to rule, when that takes place in your psyche, that's temperance. That's what temperance is. It's a resolvement. When the struggle is over between these three, and the struggle therefore is over in the sense of a victory, when the rational therefore can then be an ally with the spirited, and together they can work with the desires to achieve a oneness. That condition, see, that condition of the state of the soul, it's a condition. Right? It's a condition of the soul. That's what he calls safarsune, or temperance. Let me direct your attention again to a couple of words. Right? In justice, it's a certain power. Right? It's a power when the three parts are bound together, make oneself a one out of many, right? One out of many. And then you have to believe and name as just and beautiful dealings whatever practice preserves this condition and works along with it. This presupposes that the internal warfare between these three has been settled, because this suggests that whenever the ruler and the two ruled are one, right, then the reasoning ought to rule. That is temperance, a condition of the soul. Bravery. Remember what we said about bravery. Remember, this is a very curious idea of bravery. It's difficult to hold on to this, and we need it. All right, what is bravery? Again, notice, look here, see? It's the same language, see? Practice and preserves. Practice and preserves. Right? Here, again, whatever preserves, it's a practice, again, that preserves through pleasure and pain, desire and fear. Reasons, teachings, excuse me, there should be reasons, teachings, I goofed, right? Reasons, teachings, as to what is really dangerous or not. And what is really dangerous or not in the Republic is established by the law and the lawgivers. Right? That's established by the lawgivers. Well, to read the Republic, it's a very interesting work in the way in which it's structured. You have to now go back into the Republic, this is the fourth book, and you have to reason and say to yourself, now, for this to make sense, there must have been some discussion in some earlier part of the work